The sky above Outpost 7 shimmered with purple clouds as Sergeant Kate Miller adjusted her combat suit. The human woman stood 5 feet 9 inches tall with brown hair pulled back in a regulation bun. She was one of 30 humans stationed on planet Xerox as part of the first interspecies military cooperation program. Kate finished her morning patrol and headed toward the mess hall. The smell of artificial coffee filled the air as she grabbed a tray. Human food was still shipped from Earth, making it a luxury even for soldiers. At a corner table sat 3 Zolaxian females. Their blue skin glowed under the artificial lights. The tallest one, Vrax, was a notorious troublemaker among the alien ranks. She had 4 arms and stood 7 feet tall with mandibles that clicked when she laughed. Vrax saw Kate and whispered something to her companions. They all burst into chittering laughter. Kate ignored them and sat at an empty table. She was used to the alien soldiers treating humans as weak creatures unworthy of respect. The outpost had been established 3 years ago when humans first made contact with the Zolaxian Empire. The aliens were technologically advanced with ships that could fold space. Humans offered resources and Zolaxians offered technology. It was an uneasy alliance built on necessity. Not friendship. Kate ate her breakfast quickly. The nutrient paste tasted like cardboard, but it contained everything a human body needed to survive on this alien world. Outside, the reinforced windows' strange plants swayed in the toxic breeze. Xerox was not meant for human habitation. They needed special suits to venture beyond the outpost walls. After finishing her meal, Kate headed to the training grounds. Captain Susan Grant was already there, supervising combat exercises. Susan was a decorated veteran with short blonde hair and a scar across her cheek. She nodded at Kate. "Listen up, troops," Susan shouted to the gathered soldiers. "Today, we practice close-quarters combat. The Drachnid scouts we encountered last week showed that our enemies are getting bolder. We need to be prepared." The Drachnids were a hostile species that threatened both humans and Zolaxians. This common enemy was the main reason for the alliance. The training session began with hand-to-hand combat. Kate was paired with Vrax. The Zolaxian smirked, revealing rows of sharp teeth. The aliens watched as Vrax circled Kate. The human woman kept her stance low, remembering her training. Vrax was stronger, but Kate was faster. That was the human advantage. Speed and adaptability. Suddenly, Vrax lunged forward. Her upper right fist connected with Kate's jaw. It was meant as a joke, a light tap to embarrass the human. But Kate did not stumble. The human soldiers, watching, gasped. The blow would have knocked out most humans. Instead, Kate stood firm. Her eyes narrowed. Vrax laughed and turned to her alien companions to share in the joke. That was her mistake. Kate moved with lightning speed. Her fist connected with Vrax's jaw. A sickening crack echoed across the training ground. The alien stumbled backward, blue blood trickling from her mouth. A tooth skittered across the metal floor. The training ground fell silent. Vrax touched her mouth in disbelief. No human had ever struck a Zolaxian before. Their species was considered physically superior in every way. What Kate did not reveal was the secret of her strength. She was part of a classified human enhancement program. Nanites flowed through her bloodstream, strengthening her bones and muscles. Only 5 humans on the outpost had these enhancements, Kate among them. Their purpose was to prove humans could stand as equals. Captain Grant stepped forward. Everyone expected her to punish Kate. Instead, she looked. "At Vrax, you struck first during a training exercise," she said to the alien. "Your rank is suspended pending review." Sergeant Miller was defending herself. The aliens were shocked. Humans were not supposed to be this strong. Vrax had lost not only a tooth, but her status. Later that evening, Kate sat in the barracks when Lieutenant Amy Foster approached. Her red hair was tied back and freckles dotted her pale face. Amy was the medical officer responsible for monitoring the nanites in enhanced soldiers. "That was impressive what you did today," she said. "The nanites performed better than expected," Kate shrugged. "It was just basic training." "No?" Amy said. "Something is changing. The Zolaxians are afraid now. They thought we were weak." She lowered her voice. "This is exactly what General Blackwood wanted when she sent us here. To show the aliens that humans are not to be underestimated." Kate nodded thoughtfully. The general had selected each enhanced soldier personally. Their mission went beyond military cooperation. It was about establishing respect in a galaxy where humans were newcomers. Outside the barracks window, 3 moons rose over the alien landscape. Kate wondered what tomorrow would bring. The incident would not be forgotten. Vrax would not forgive easily, and the other Zolaxians would be watching more closely than ever. News spread quickly through the outpost. The human woman who stood her ground. The alien who lost a tooth and a rank. Even the Zolaxian commander Trizak requested a meeting with Captain Grant to discuss the incident. The next morning, Kate entered the mess hall and noticed the immediate change. The aliens no longer chittered when she walked by. Instead, they watched her with a mixture of curiosity and caution. Kate filled her tray and sat at her usual table. Soon she was joined by Private Olivia, Tanner, another enhanced soldier. "They respect you now," Olivia whispered. Her blonde hair was cut short to fit under her helmet. She was the youngest of the enhanced soldiers, barely 22, but already a skilled sniper. Kate shrugged. "I did what anyone would do." Across the room, Vrax entered. The alien wore a simple uniform without rank insignia. Her mandibles were drawn tight against her face, a sign of humiliation among Zolaxians. One tooth was visibly missing from her upper jaw. She collected her food, a purple substance that smelled like sulfur, and hesitated, looking for a place to sit. To everyone's surprise, Kate raised her hand and motioned to the empty seat at her table. Vrax stood frozen for a moment. Then, with slow, deliberate steps, she approached and sat down. The mess hall fell silent as human and alien faced each other. "You fight well for a human," Vrax said finally. Her voice was low, so others couldn't hear. "You too," Kate replied. "But next time, wait for the signal to begin." Vrax made a sound that might have been a laugh. "I underestimated you." "It will not happen again," Kate nodded. This was as close to friendship as they might get. After breakfast, Kate reported to Captain Grant for her new assignment. The captain's office was sparse, with only a desk and 2 chairs. A holographic map of the surrounding territory floated in the center of the room. Sergeant Grant began, "I need you to lead a scouting mission. 3 humans, 3 Zolaxians. The eastern perimeter has shown unusual activity. Our sensors detected something moving out there. Vrax will be on your team." Grant continued, watching Kate carefully. "I know what happened yesterday, but she knows the terrain better than anyone. Her rank is suspended, but her skills are not." Kate nodded. Understanding the importance of the mission, Drachnid activity had increased in recent months. If they were planning an attack, the outpost needed to be prepared. The team assembled at the airlock. Kate, Olivia, and Corporal Diane Woods represented the humans. Vrax and 2 other Zolaxians named Krell and Mox represented their species. Each soldier checked their weapons and environmental suits. The outside of Xerox was beautiful but deadly. The atmosphere contained elements toxic to both humans and Zolaxians. The landscape was dotted with crystalline formations that sparkled under the pale sun. Vegetation grew in strange patterns, forming spirals and geometric shapes that seemed almost artificial. Kate led the team through a narrow valley. The Zolaxians took point, using their superior vision to scan for dangers. Vrax stayed close to Kate occasionally, pointing out hazards in the terrain. They walked for 3 hours before reaching the area where the sensors had detected activity. Kate raised her hand, signaling the team to stop. A large structure loomed ahead. It wasn't Drachnid in design, it looked older, more ancient. Vrax moved to Kate's side. "This was not here during my last patrol," she whispered. Her 4 hands gripped her weapon tightly. Kate nodded. The structure appeared to have emerged from the ground recently. Its surface was smooth and black, with strange symbols etched into its sides. A doorway gaped open like a mouth. "We should report this," Diane suggested. Her brown eyes were wide. With concern, Kate shook her head. "We need to know what it is first." She turned to the team. "Olivia and Mox, stay here and guard our exit. Vrax, Krell, Diane with me." The 4 soldiers approached the structure cautiously. As they neared, the entrance lights activated inside, illuminating a corridor that led deep underground. Kate activated her suit's recording system. General Blackwood would want to see everything. Inside, the air was surprisingly breathable. Kate checked her sensors and nodded to the others. They removed their helmets. The corridor walls were covered with the same strange symbols, each one glowed with a faint blue light. Vrax studied the symbols. "These are not Drachnid," she said. "They are not Zolaxian either. I have never seen this language." The corridor led to a large chamber. In the center stood a pedestal. On top of it rested a small cube about the size of Kate's palm. It glowed with inner light, pulsing like a heartbeat. Kate approached carefully. Something about the cube called to her. She reached out, Sergeant Novrax warned. But it was too late. Kate's fingers touched the cube. Light exploded outward, engulfing the chamber. Kate felt knowledge pour into her mind. Images of stars, galaxies, civilizations rose and fell behind her eyes. She saw the Drachnids, the Zolaxians, and humans, all pieces in a larger game. When the light faded, Kate found herself on her knees. Vrax was beside her, steadying her with two of her forearms. The alien's face showed concern. "What happened?" Vrax asked. "What? Did you see?" Kate struggled to find words. "It's a message," she said finally. "A warning, the Drachnids, they aren't just raiders. They're running from something worse." The team rushed back to Outpost 7 with the cube secured in a containment field. Kate had insisted on bringing it. Despite Diane's concerns, the knowledge in her mind was fragmented, but one thing was clear. The cube was important. Captain Grant met them at the airlock. Her face showed concern when she saw Kate's pale appearance. Kate was immediately taken to the medical bay. While Vrax reported what happened, Amy Foster ran scans on Kate as she lay on the examination table. The medical officer frowned at the readings. "Your nanites are hyperactive," she said. "They seem to be processing something. Your brain activity is off the charts." Kate closed her eyes. The images were still there, flashing behind her eyelids. A vast darkness moving between stars, worlds falling silent one by one, and the Drachnids fleeing before it. "I need to speak to Captain Grant," Kate said, struggling to sit up. "It's urgent." Amy helped her to her feet. The medical bay door slid open, revealing Vrax. The alien stood awkwardly in the doorway. Her mandibles twitched, a sign of nervousness. "The captain wishes to see both of you," Vrax said. Her eyes lingered on Kate. "Is the human all right?" Kate nodded, though her head still pounded with alien knowledge. In the command center, Captain Grant stood with Trizak, the Zolaxian commander. The cube sat on the table between them, contained in an energy field. "Tell me everything," Grant ordered. Kate explained what she had seen. The images, the warnings, the threat that pursued the Drachnids across the galaxy. As she spoke, the cube pulsed in time with her words. Trizak clicked her mandibles in agitation. "This changes our understanding of the Drachnids," she said. "They are not invaders, but refugees." Grant nodded. "This threat, whatever it is, could be coming here next. We need to prepare." Kate hesitated, then spoke. "The cube showed me more," she said. "It showed me how our species can fight together. The Zolaxians, the humans, even the Drachnids. We need to unite." Vrax stepped forward. "I believe Sergeant Miller," she said. Her mandibles spread in a Zolaxian gesture of respect. "I have seen her strength. She does not lie." Trizak considered this. It was unprecedented for a Zolaxian officer to vouch for a human. The commander turned to Grant. "We must inform our governments. We need more forces." Grant nodded. "We have a communication window with Earth in 6 hours. I want a full report ready by then. Kate, you will help prepare it." Vrax assist her. The two soldiers left the command center together. The outpost was buzzing with activity as word spread of their discovery. In the data center, Kate and Vrax worked side by side. The human dictated what she had seen, while the Zolaxian organized the information into a coherent report. As they worked, Kate noticed something changing in their interaction. The hostility was gone, replaced by professional respect. "You fought well against me," Vrax said suddenly. "In the training ground. No one has done that before." Kate looked up from her work. "It wasn't personal." Vrax made a sound that might have been a laugh. Among my people it is always personal. Our rank, our status, our place in the hierarchy. These things define us. You took my rank and my pride with one punch. Yet here we are working together. I am learning that humans think differently. Perhaps that's our strength, Kate suggested. We adapt. Hierarchy is important, but so is flexibility. Vrax considered this thoughtfully. Her forehands worked the holographic controls with practiced ease. Maybe there is wisdom in your ways, she admitted. Their report was completed just as the communication window with Earth opened. General Pamela Blackwood appeared on the main screen. Her gray hair was cut short, her uniform impeccable. Her eyes narrowed as she listened to Captain Grant's briefing. This cube, she said when Grant finished, have you attempted to access its data directly? Not yet, Grant replied. Only Sergeant Miller has connected with it. And that was accidental. The general nodded. Kate Miller was one of my best selections for the enhancement program. Her brain chemistry showed unusual adaptability. That may explain why the cube responded to her. Kate stood straighter at the general's words. General Blackwood turned her attention to the Zolaxian commander. Trizak, has your government been informed? Yes, Trizak replied. Our high command is sending a science vessel. It should arrive in 7 rotations. Good, Blackwood said. Earth is dispatching the Alliance, its newest battleship, along with research personnel. We need to understand this threat and prepare a united defense. The transmission ended, leaving the command center in silence. Kate felt the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. The cube had chosen her for a reason. Her connection to it would be crucial in the days ahead. That night, Kate could not sleep. The alien knowledge pulsed in her mind, showing her glimpses of the coming darkness. She sat on her bunk staring at the wall when a knock came at her door. Vrax stood outside. The alien looked uncomfortable in the human section. For the barracks, may I enter? She asked formally. Kate nodded and Vrax ducked through the doorway. The alien was too tall for the human quarters. She had to bend slightly to avoid hitting her head. I could not sleep, Vrax said. The things you described, the darkness between stars. It reminds me of old stories my mother told me. Tales of the World Eaters. Kate looked up sharply. World Eaters. Vrax nodded. Ancient beings that consume planets. They were considered myths. Legends to frighten children, but perhaps not myths, Kate said. The knowledge in my mind, it calls them the void. They travel between galaxies seeking life to absorb. Vrax sat on the floor, her 4 arms wrapped around her knees. My people are warriors, she said. We have conquered worlds, fought wars across our sector, but this is beyond our experience. Kate reached out hesitantly and placed her hand on Vrax's shoulder. The alien stiffened, then relaxed at the human gesture. We will face it together, Kate said. Human adaptability. Zolaxian. Strength. Even Drachnid technology, if we can convince them to join us. Vrax looked at her with new eyes. You are different from other humans, she said. I see now why the cube chose you. Kate smiled. Tomorrow. Well, begin preparing the outpost. Our governments will argue and plan, but we are here on the front line. We need to be ready. Vrax stood her full 7 feet, towering in the small room. I will follow you into this battle, Sergeant Miller, she said formally. My tooth and rank were a small price to pay. For this alliance, Kate nodded, understanding the significance of the alien's words. A bond had been formed, one that transcended species, a friendship forged in adversity that would be their true strength in the coming darkness. The next morning, alarms blared throughout Outpost 7. Kate jumped from her bunk and rushed to the command center. Soldiers human and Zolaxian ran through the corridors. Captain Grant and Commander Trizak stood before the main display screen. Drachnid. Ships, 5 of them, Grant announced as Kate entered. They appeared at the edge of our system an hour ago. They've been sending a signal. Show me, Kate said. The screen changed, showing a tall insectoid figure. Its exoskeleton was crimson and black with multiple eyes that glowed yellow. The Drachnid spoke in a series of clicks and hisses which the computer translated. We seek asylum, it said. We bring warnings. The darkness follows. We have seen the end of worlds. Grant turned to Kate. Does this match what you saw in the cube? Kate nodded. The void is coming, the drachnids are running from it. Trizac clicked her mandibles. We have fought the drachnids for generations. They are enemies. They are refugees now, Kate said. And they have information we need after. Much debate, a decision was made. The drachnid ships would be allowed to land in a designated area away from the outpost. A delegation would meet with them. Kate Vrax, Captain Grant, Commander Trizac, and several guards made up the welcome party. The drachnid ships were sleek and organic, looking more like living creatures than vessels. They landed in formation, raising dust from the planet's surface. A hatch opened in the lead ship, and 3 drachnids emerged. They were taller than Zalaxians with 6 limbs and segmented bodies. Their leader wore ceremonial armor decorated with strange symbols. I am Zektik, the leader said through a translation device. We come in peace, seeking alliance against the common threat. Captain Grant stepped forward. I am Captain Susan Grant of Earth Command. This is Commander Trizac of the Zalaxian Empire. We will hear your warning. The drachnids were brought to the outpost and given quarters in a separate section. Kate was assigned as their liaison due to her connection with the cube. Vrax volunteered to assist her. The alien had become her shadow, rarely leaving her side. In a secure conference room, Zektik shared the drachnid's story. They had encountered the void 3 cycles ago. It had consumed their homeworld, leaving nothing but dead space. They had been fleeing ever since, gathering survivors and information. We tracked its movement, Zektik said. It follows patterns, seeking worlds rich in life. Your system is in its path. How much time do we have? Grant asked. The drachnid leader lowered its head. Perhaps one of your Earth months. No more. The news sent shockwaves through the outpost. Earth and the Zalaxian Empire were notified, but their reinforcements would not arrive in time. They were on their own. Kate spent hours with the cube trying to extract more information. Each session left her exhausted but with new insights. The cube was a warning system left by an ancient race that had faced the void before. They had not defeated it, only delayed it. One evening, Kate staggered from the lab where the cube was kept. Vrax caught her as she nearly collapsed. You push yourself too hard, the alien said. Supporting Kate with 2 arms, Kate leaned against the wall. I learned something new. She said, the void isn't just a force of destruction, it's intelligent and it can be hurt. Vrax's mandibles clicked with excitement. How Kate took a deep breath. The ancient race. They found a way to create a specific energy frequency that disrupts the void's cohesion. It can't be destroyed, but it can be forced into dormancy. The cube contains the specifications. Word spread quickly. A plan began to form. They would modify the outpost's defense systems to emit the disruptive frequency, but the range would be limited. They needed something more powerful. The answer came from an unexpected source. Zektik approached Kate and Vrax as they worked in the engineering bay. Our ships, he said. They are partially organic. They can channel energy in ways your technology cannot. If we combine your knowledge with our vessels, it could work, Kate said excitedly. We could create a network of emitters. The next days were a blur of activity. Humans, Zalaxians, and drachnids worked side by side. Engineers from all 3 species, modified equipment, soldiers, prepared defenses, and scientists studied the cube. Vrax was restored to her rank by Commander Trizac in recognition of her efforts. Kate found herself at the center of it all. The nanites in her system helped her process the cube's information faster than anyone else could. She worked until she collapsed, slept for a few hours, then began again. Vrax rarely left her side. The alien had appointed herself Kate's protector. 7 days into their preparation, sensors detected a disturbance at the edge of the system. A vast shadow moving against the stars. The void had arrived earlier than expected. All personnel to battle stations. Grant's voice echoed through the outpost. Kate ran to the command center. Vrax at her side. The main screen showed the approaching darkness. It seemed to absorb light itself, growing as it moved. Activate the emitter network, Grant ordered. Engineers initiated the sequence. The outpost's main dish began to glow as it channeled the specific frequency. The 5 Drachnid ships, positioned around the planet, activated their systems as well. 6 points of light pushing against the encroaching shadow. On the screen, the void seemed to hesitate. Its expansion slowed. But it did not retreat. "It's not enough," Kate said. "The frequency is correct, but the power is insufficient." Vrax stepped forward, looking at the display. "The Zolaxian ship," she said, "they have antimatter cores. If we could channel the energy through them, but they're in orbit." Commander Trzak protested. "They would need to be brought into the atmosphere. I can fly one." Vrax volunteered. "I know the systems." "No," Kate said. "We need a better plan." There was no time for debate. The void surged forward, swallowing the outermost sensor buoys. Alarms blared throughout the outpost. Vrax looked at Kate. "For once in your stubborn human life, listen to me," she said. "My people value rank and status above all, but you taught me something more important. Unity, purpose. The void threatens all our worlds. This is my choice." Before Kate could respond, Vrax ran from the command center. Kate followed, but the alien was faster. She reached the shuttle bay and boarded a transport. The engines fired before Kate could reach her. Kate watched from the launch control as the shuttle carried Vrax toward the Zolaxian cruiser in orbit. Commander Trzak stood beside her. The alien commander placed a hand on Kate's shoulder, a gesture she had learned from humans. "She fights with honor," Trzak said. "They will sing of her courage for generations." The command center tracked Vrax's shuttle as it docked with the Zolaxian cruiser. Moments later, the massive ship began to move, changing its orbit. Kate watched the tactical display, her heart pounding. The cruiser was positioning itself between the planet and the approaching void. Captain Grant received a transmission from the ship. Vrax's face appeared on the screen. Her mandibles were spread in determination. "I have reconfigured the antimatter core," she reported. "It will channel the frequency at maximum power when detonated. The blast should force the void into dormancy." Kate stepped forward. "Vrax, you don't have to do this. We can find another way." The alien made a sound that might have been laughter. "We are beyond other ways. Sergeant Miller, the void is too close. I have programmed the ship to fly directly into the center of the entity. The antimatter detonation will spread the frequency throughout its mass." Through the outpost's sensors they watched as the cruiser accelerated toward the darkness. The void seemed to reach for it. Tendrils of shadow extending outward. Vrax remained on screen. Her voice was calm. "Tell them I did this with honor," she said. "Tell them a Zolaxian who lost a tooth to a human found something greater than rank." The transmission cut off as the cruiser entered the void. For a moment nothing happened, then a blinding flash of light erupted from within the darkness. The sensors overloaded temporarily, blinding the outpost systems. When the displays cleared, the void was still visible, but it was changing. Its edges were dissolving, pulling back from the planet. Its mass seemed to be collapsing in on itself. "It's working," Zektik exclaimed. "The frequency is disrupting its cohesion." The command center erupted. In cheers, humans, Zolaxians, and Drachnids celebrating together. Kate did not join them. Her eyes remained fixed on the screen, searching for any sign of Vrax or the cruiser. There was none. The void continued to retreat until it was barely visible, a shadow among stars. Sensor readings confirmed it was becoming dormant, entering a state similar to hibernation. The immediate threat had passed. In the days that followed, representatives from Earth and the Zolaxian Empire arrived. They were shocked to find humans, Zolaxians, and Drachnids working side by side. General Blackwood was particularly surprised when she toured the outpost. "You have accomplished something remarkable here," she told Kate. 3 species that were enemies now. "Allies," Kate nodded. "It took a common threat and uncommon courage." A memorial service was held for Vrax and the crew of the Zolaxian cruiser. Kate stood with Commander Trzak as they released glowing orbs into the night sky. A Zolaxian tradition to honor fallen warriors. "She was a bully when I met her," Kate said quietly. "She hit me as a joke." Trzak made a sound of acknowledgement. "She died a hero, saving 3 worlds. That is how she will be remembered." 1 month after the void was forced into dormancy, a permanent alliance was formed Earth, the Zolaxian Empire, and the Drachnid Collective united in a defensive pact. The outpost was expanded, becoming the headquarters for this new alliance. Kate was promoted to captain and given command of the first mixed species response team. The cube remained at the outpost, studied by scientists from all three species. It continued to share its knowledge, but only with Kate. The ancient race had left other artifacts throughout the galaxy. The Alliance began searching for them, preparing for the day when the void would awaken again one evening. Kate stood on the observation deck looking at the stars. Amy Foster joined her. The medical officer had been monitoring the nanites in Kate's system. The connection with the cube has changed. "You," Amy said, "your nanites have evolved. They show patterns I've never seen before." Kate nodded. "I can feel it. Sometimes I dream in languages that never existed on Earth. I see worlds that humans have never visited." "What will you do?" Amy asked. "Continue the work," Kate replied. "We have time now, but not forever. The void will return, and we need to be ready." Her gaze drifted to a small memorial plaque on the wall. It bore Vrax's name and rank, along with a single Zolaxian tooth, preserved in clear crystal. Kate had commissioned it herself, a reminder of how everything had begun, with a punch that knocked out a tooth and knocked down barriers between species. In her quarters that night, Kate found a small package. It contained a data crystal and a note, written in Vrax angular script. "If you are reading this, I have joined my ancestors with honor." She had written, "The crystal contains my family's histories. Share them with your people, so they may know who we truly are. Not just warriors, but scholars, poets, dreamers. I learned from you, Kate Miller, that strength comes in many forms. Sometimes in a fist, sometimes in friendship." Kate placed the crystal in a reader, and images filled her room. Zolaxian history, art, music, literature, the story of a civilization spanning thousands of years. She watched until morning, absorbing the knowledge Vrax had entrusted to her. At dawn, she stood before the assembled troops of Outpost 7 humans with their adaptability, Zolaxians with their strength, Drachnids with their technology, all looking to her for leadership. "We have work to do," she said. "The void is dormant, not defeated. We need to find the other artifacts, prepare our defenses, extend our alliance to other species. But first we need to understand each other, not as allies of convenience, but as friends." She held up Vrax's data crystal. "This contains the cultural heritage of the Zolaxian people." She continued, "We will share our histories, our arts, our beliefs. In understanding we find unity. In unity, we find strength." From the back of the assembly hall, Commander Trizak stepped forward. She carried a similar crystal. "The Zolaxian High Command has authorized this," she said. "It contains human history and culture. We will learn from each other." Sektik moved to join them. The Drachnid leader held a biological memory pod. "We too will share our legacy. 3 species once enemies, now bound by something stronger than fear." Kate thought of Vrax, of the punch that had started everything, of how sometimes the greatest journeys begin with the smallest steps. The universe was vast and dangerous, but they would face it together, not through weakness, but through strength, tempered with wisdom. The stars spread out before them, filled with possibilities and perils. Kate Miller, captain of the first truly interspecies force, looked to the horizon. A new dawn was breaking across the galaxy, and humanity had found its place among the stars.